The Nissan Juke has spent its whole life being the small SUV people bought with their hearts instead of their heads. And this hybrid is Nissan quietly giving the heart some backup. For years, it's sold on looks alone while rivals won the spreadsheet arguments. The hybrid changes that, because for the first time, the most interesting Juke is also the most sensible one. In yellow, with the black roof and the N Sport details, it makes the case before you have read a single number. The face is still the part everyone reacts to. The split headlights, the deep honeycomb grille, the way the bonnet creases run back toward the windscreen. It is busy, confident, and it has aged better than almost anything else from its year. The yellow paint, which Nissan brought back specifically for this update, makes the Juke look like it is enjoying itself. I find the front end genuinely charming, and that is not a word I use for many small SUVs. Down the side, the hidden rear door handles tucked into the C-pillar keep the coupe illusion going, and the black arches and sill cladding give it a planted stance. The 19-inch black alloys fill the arches properly. From the back, the boomerang taillights look clean, and the hybrid badge sits quietly on the corner. It wants you to notice it without shouting, and on the show floor people kept walking back to it. Inside is where this generation made its biggest leap, and the N Sport treatment pushes it further. The yellow runs across the dashboard top, around the screen, down the gear selector, and into the stitching on the sport seats. Those seats are the highlight. They are deeply bolstered, they carry the Juke name embossed into the headrest, and they hold you in a way that feels far more expensive than the segment. The driving position sits behind a flat-bottomed wheel, a digital cluster, and a central touchscreen running the latest Nissan software. The physical climate buttons underneath are the kind of detail owners appreciate every time they get in, because you are not diving into a menu to change the temperature. It is not overdone, which is important. The rear cabin is where the Juke asks you to compromise, and I will come back to that, but it is not as tight as the swooping roofline suggests. 2 adults fit, and the speaker housing built into the rear door is a nice touch. Headroom is the limiting factor more than legroom. This was always a car designed around the front occupants, and that alone tells you who it is really for. The boot is genuinely useful for the class. The hybrid keeps its battery under the floor without stealing much space, so you still get a deep square load area with a flat sill and a removable shelf. It swallows a weekly shop, a pushchair, the daily clutter a small family throws at it. For a car this size that prioritizes style, the practicality is better than you expect. If walkarounds like this help you decide what fits your life, subscribe so you catch the next one before you buy. Under the bonnet is the part that matters most. This is a full hybrid, not a mild hybrid, and not a plug-in. It pairs a 1.6-liter petrol engine with an electric motor and a separate starter generator, feeding a small battery for a combined 141 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. Around town, it pulls away on electricity, silent and smooth, and Nissan claims close to 60 miles per gallon, which for a petrol, Juke is a real step forward. There is a catch, and it is worth being honest about. When you ask for power quickly, the gearbox and the petrol engine take a moment to wake up, and there is a brief hesitation before everything pulls together. It is a character of this multi-mode setup rather than a fault, and in normal driving, you do not feel it. Drive it the way most Juke buyers will, gently and around town, and the hybrid does its best work, gliding on electric power far more often than you would think. So where does that leave the Juke Hybrid? It is not the roomiest, the fastest, or the cheapest. What it is, finally, is a Juke you can defend with logic as well as love. The looks that always sold it are still here. The cabin has caught up to the price, and the hybrid system gives it the efficiency the car always deserved. With an all-electric Juke already on the way, this feels like the last and best version of the formula that started the whole small SUV craze. And honestly, it might be the one people look back on most